Hello again, Easiest Swing family. In today's video, I want to talk to you about how Easiest Swing has allowed me to be able to play scratch golf in my 60s, my late 60s, possibly into my 70s, and you never know, I might even be able to do it into my 80s. And that's coming up in this video right now. So what are we talking about here? What is the difference between Easiest Swing and other ways of swinging the golf club? The way I used to swing the golf club, I'm going to talk to you about. Well, the main thing is it all starts from the core of Easiest Swing, which is La Dance to Golf. And just to explain that, what is that? It's just a movement where you stand upright and you rotate from side to side like that, feeling your weight transferring from foot to foot. And you could stop at any point during that and you would always be in balance. It's a really simple and easy move. But why did it get developed? Well, my brother Brian, who founded Easiest Swing, he had a back operation in the 90s, and when he came back to golf afterwards was really struggling to be able to get a normal spinal tilt and to be able to create the movement that other golfers were working on in those days. And so he looked at it and thought, why do we need this sort of tilt on the spine, and what's it actually doing for me? Well, it was actually putting a lot of pressure on his lower spine. And when you think about it, if I tilt my spine over quite a long way, I've now got to rotate around my spine like that. I turn sideways on, just look at that. I tilt over a long way, turn around my spine, and you can see that creates a slightly more awkward movement than this very simple movement here. But if we add in a couple of other things into that mix, if I do the things that we used to do, which was keep the left heel on the ground, keep the head still, at the same time as having this extra tilt, look what happens. I'm going to keep that foot down, I'm going to keep my head still, and now look what happens is my shoulders start to actually tilt rather than turn. And this is putting a lot of strain on my back. I'm going to show you just in simple terms what's actually happening to my spine in that movement is that I'm doing that on the backswing, and I'm doing that on the way through the ball and on the follow through. And if you look at that, it's quite awkward, isn't it? It's certainly a lot more awkward than this simple move. So Brian developed this move, and I have to say to you, I only really adopted it myself in my own game about just over 10 years ago. But if I didn't do that, because I've also had spinal operations, I've got 4 fused vertebrae in my back, I wouldn't be able to do a full golf swing. I think if I had to have that spinal tilt, my heel down, my head still, I would struggle to get the golf club back any further than this. And of course, once you do that, if you then do the move the other way, you're either going to put your back out in that action, or you're going to end up making a very complicated swing, and you start to compensate for all of this extra movement in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. Whereas it's so much simpler if you have a slightly more upright stance in the first place, can rotate around that spinal angle and complete your swing at both ends. That's the thing, that's the beauty of this, is I can get a full turn because my heel comes off the ground, my head moves, just accommodates that movement, and I can finish the swing fully here. So I'm still swinging the golf club like I would have been 20 or 30 years ago. I'm still hitting the same sort of distances I was in those days as well, which is fantastic. I thought by the time I was in my mid to late 60s, I would see a huge drop off in power, as so many golfers do. So just think about that. This is what's potentially there for you if you can learn the La Dance move in the first place, just that simple rotation. If you can learn that, adopt it into your swing with a slightly more upright position in the spine, this is what's waiting for you at the other end of it. Let's put that into action and see how it looks. Okay, so 237 yards of carry, 102 miles an hour club head speed, and 146 miles an hour ball speed. All quite respectable stats for a scratch golfer, but pretty good for a 66-year-old scratch golfer. So that's what we're looking for, is a nice easy action that can deliver those stats, the sort of things I'd have been doing 20 and 30 years ago, but in a much more complicated way. So if you've just found Easiest Swing, just come and join the thousands of golfers around the world who are finding an easier way to play the game. It's not technical, it's not difficult, anybody can do it, and you can improve your game in the simplest possible way. You just need to check out our website, easiestswing.com. You can sign up for our newsletter. We've also got the Positive Impact Golf book there, where you can download the first few chapters and get a look at that, see what you think, and if you want to, you can get the rest of the book, and you can also have a look at our new book, The Easiest Swing in Golf. So I hope you enjoy those resources. Easiestswing.com. So normally at this point I'd give you a demonstration of the other way of doing it, but I'm not going to do that, and I'll tell you exactly why. And that is that I did do that, and there is a video you can see from 11 years ago. I did it with Brian where I demonstrated that. I could do it then. Today I couldn't. I'm absolutely positive if I tried to demonstrate the other way of doing it, I would probably put my back out. I'd be off golf for at least a month, possibly longer. So I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do that because it's just too dangerous for my back. But there is the lesson in that for all of you. If you have problems with your lower back, then do consider changing this. We get so many messages from people who say they've relieved themselves from the back problems they had by taking on Easiest Swing, by taking this slightly more upright posture, and it's just allowing them to play much more into their senior years. When we compare that to the Easiest Swing movement, let's just take a look at it. What is it? It's just a really simple turn. My golf club simply ends up over my right shoulder. I come through and it ends up over my left shoulder. So it's as simple as that. That's all we're looking to do, is to make the easiest movement you can with your body, with your spine, that's going to be strain-free, pain-free, and allow you to swing the golf club well into your senior years. Now, of course, you're probably going to ask, that's all well and good with a driver, but how do I play my short irons? Well, simply, what's going to happen is that I'm still going to try and retain as upright a position as I can for my spine, but I'm going to allow the golf club to fall into a position that's a little closer to me than it would have been with more tilt. So basically, as I'm slightly more upright, the club comes a little closer to me. And that's it. Find a position that feels comfortable, feels natural, that you're not strained or stretched or anything like that, and you can retain that very upright posture. I'll just turn it sideways on so you can see that from the side as well. So again, if I had the severe tilt, I would be here, and as I have reduced tilt, you see the golf club coming in closer to me. And this is something we see with a lot of senior golfers again, is they talk about the fact that with the short irons they struggle, they have to bend over so far, it's difficult for them. Well, you don't need to. You can stay upright, just let the club come in to a closer position to you there, and you'll be absolutely fine. Again, look at what's going to happen as I allow that turn to happen. Golf club goes over my right shoulder here and my left shoulder here. Of course, that's if I'm right-handed. If I'm left-handed, it's the reverse, left to right. So let's just play a shot, and as you see, I've still got the upright posture, club nice and close to me. So if you want to enjoy your golf well into your senior years and play like I am doing, I'm enjoying my golf, I'm playing as well as I was 20, 30 years ago, this is what you can do if you allow yourself to make these very small changes in the way that you set yourself up and the way that you actually move through the swing. So if you've enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, and please tell your friends about this too, particularly the senior golfers who may be struggling with their backs, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.